it's Katie and welcome back to From My Vanity. Today I wanted to try something a little bit different with my end of the month favorites and fails of videos, and since I only have a handful of products to give my reviews on, I wanted to try it in a countdown type of fashion. Now the first one that I ever saw do this was Cassie over at ThriftThick, and also JenLuvsReviews does her monthly favorites and fails in this same type of style, so I'll leave both of their channels linked down below. But I thought it'd be fun because I was pulling out products that I had solid reviews on, and there were only 10. So I was like, you know what, let me put these together, and there were definite to about, 4 or 5 that were definite fails and 4 or 5 that were definite favorites. So I was like, let me do this, set it up in a countdown. We can start with the worst and work all the way up to the standout product from the month, and I can share with you guys some reviews of new products that I have tested out. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing this for the rest of the year. I want to get you guys this feedback, so let me know what you think down below. This year I'm definitely going to try and focus more on giving you guys quicker reviews in shorter videos, so be on the lookout for that. Moving forward from here on out, I'm going to try to be a lot more timely and give you guys shorter reviews just with that one product that I'm talking about, instead of always saving it for the end of the month, just because with my life right now and not having a whole lot of time to film, shorter videos are ones I'm able to sit down and record during my little free moments, and I can at least make sure I'm continuing to give you guys reviews on the products I'm bringing into my collection, the first impressions that I'm doing and whatnot, and not waiting and drawing it out and then giving you guys a 40-minute video at the end of every month. So let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you guys think about doing my monthly favorites more of just like the standout products. Maybe we can continue to do it in this type of countdown fashion, working from the worst to the best, but I'd only like pick out a handful of products to do for my monthly favorites and whatnot. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be feeling it out for this month and then probably next month and whatnot. So bear with me as we go through some growing pains over here on my channel. But anyway, let's just go ahead and dive right in because I have no idea how much time I have to film today. Okay, so starting with number 10, let's go ahead and start with the worst product. The standout product that I just was not impressed with was the Flower Beauty Miracle Matte Lip Cream, and I specifically have the shade Bare Honey. I was really excited about this and I had high hopes for it, but I think I've worn this 4 times total, and every single time I did not like how it wore after about, oh my goodness, maybe an hour or 2. It went downhill very quickly for me in this lipstick. Not only did it accentuate the lines of my lips, but I would very quickly get the line on the inside of my lip, and also not just that stark line of where the liquid lipstick ends and where your lips, begin on the inside, but it also tinted it a little bit on that line, so it had a little bit of a white cast to this pink hue, and it was just a very distinct line, and I did not think that looked pretty, and it was just very odd and strange, and it was very thick on my lips, and the longer I wore it, the more times I sipped out of, my cup or something or ate something, the worse it felt. It looked very nice for the first hour, but after that, I very quickly wanted to get it off my lips, so this just impressed me a lot for being not really that good. Okay, so moving along to the number 9 spot, I have the CoverFX High Performance Setting Spray 24-Hour Wear. This little guy, I want to preface this by saying this is the only thing I've tried of this product, so it's in this little tube I got as a freebie from Ulta with an order, I'm pretty sure. So keep in mind that part of my review might be due to the fact that this little spray and this little freebie is the only experience I have with it, but I do not like how it sprays out. It looks very fine, like you guys aren't going to be able to see that, but when you spray it, it's a very fine mist, but it still hits the face feeling very splotchy, and then when it dries, if you look at your face in a mirror, you can see all the little spots. It leaves like a shiny cast to your face, not to your face, but just anywhere that these little spots hit your face. There's just this tiny little, almost like a water droplet, and it's shiny compared to the rest of your face. So I didn't like that. Now, it's nothing you can see from very far away, but if you're close enough to kind of like catch, the light and whatnot as I'm looking in the mirror, I could see the little spots, and I was not a fan of that. And then add to that, at the end of the day, there were many days where I wore this and just sprayed it on half and left the other side of my face alone. Maybe there was a difference. Maybe this side just looked a teensy bit better, but it really wasn't that big enough of a deal to make me say like, oh yeah, that made a nice difference. So with the fact that it left spots on my face, the fact that it felt tight, almost like I had put hairspray on my face, and the fact that it didn't really do that much, all around this was just a fail for me. And like I said, maybe the full size has a nicer sprayer, but I feel like it was the formula that really did it in for me with the way it just dried and left a kind of almost a shiny little spot on my face. Anywhere this little guy landed, all around, was not impressed with him. Okay, so coming in at number 8, this is the Wet n Wild Mega Slim Skinny Mascara. Now, I bought this with the mindset of using it just for my lower lashes because, like, look at that little wand, and I want to say it was like $3. It was pretty darn affordable, so I wanted to try and see if it could be a good dupe and cheaper alternative than my favorite, which is the IT Cosmetics Tightline Mascara. And this, it works, but it's such a dry formula. I find that I have to go and go and go and coat and coat and coat my lashes so many times to try to get it to stick to my lashes. Now keep in mind, I have like non-existent lashes on my lower lash line, so it takes, like, I have to be very careful, and it takes a good coat to really make them show up, which is what I want if I'm going to go through the effort of putting on mascara on my bottom lashes. I want it to be noticeable, and so I just felt like I kept having to go over and over. It's a very dry formula. It's a very fibery type of formula if you look at it in the tube, which I thought would help kind of make my lashes look longer with those little fibers, but it's too dry and it just takes too much work to get it to stick to my lashes, and if I push too hard then I just end up touching the skin and leaving black spots everywhere, and it's just a hassle. So there's just too many days when I was trying this that I ended up with a black spots of mascara underneath my eyes, and that is not what I'm looking for when it comes to a lower lash mascara. So no, this did not impress me this past month, and it definitely isn't going to be a repurchase of mine, and I wouldn't recommend it as like a good dupe for the Tightline from IT Cosmetics, because that one, it's been a while since I've used it. I kind of want to buy it again to refresh my memory, but it was just so effortless to put on, and the formula was so nice. I never had to worry about accidentally getting mascara all over my face when I used that for my lower lashes. So anyway, overall, was not impressed with this guy. Next up, I have another mascara. This is the Revolution, the Mascara Revolution. I don't know, it's from Makeup Revolution, and it's called the Mascara Revolution, I think. Anyway, this it kind of reminds me of like the Too Faced Better Than Sex type of mascara. It's just very big and clunky, and it's a very dry formula, and I just felt like it was just too clumpy for me, too clumpy for my liking. If I ever went in with just this, I just felt like it would clump all my lashes together, and it was too easy to go overboard with this. I like this more as a topper mascara, but I felt like it dried out very quickly. I think I've had this open for 2 months max. It might even be just this last month. I forget. I think I pulled it in December, and that was the first time. So it's, you know, been December and January. And it's very dry. It just, I feel like it dried out very quickly, and there's not a lot of product. And even now, like when I pull it out, I feel like I'm kind of like trying to scrape the sides to really get stuff on there, because it's just such a dry formula. Like I said, not the worst mascara I've ever tried, but it just didn't stand out as being a fantastic mascara for me and my preferences, and I don't envision myself ever repurchasing this just because it's not my vibe when it comes to what I like in a mascara. Okay, moving along for the number 5 spot, we're halfway there. This is the Milani Stay Put Eyeliner. They sent me a bunch of colors, which I am extremely grateful for. I really love how this glides onto my waterline. Now, the only way I tested these, let me just throw that out there, is to put it in my waterline, my tightline, whatever you want to call it. That's the only way I ever use gel liners. I don't use them to line my upper lash line. I don't really use them to line my lower lash line. I don't use them to wing it out. Nothing like that. I don't smudge it. It's just for my waterline. So keep that in mind when I'm giving this review. That's all I tried it for, because that's just my preference when it comes to gel liners. And while I think it glides so smoothly and effortlessly and very beautifully and pigmented into my waterline, it doesn't stay for me. Now keep in mind I have very watery eyes, and my eyes just can water throughout the day for no reason at all, or because I sneeze, or they're just very watery. So typically there's very few gel liners that I can put in my waterline and they actually stay there all day. The one I have in my waterline right now is the Avon retractable one that I really love, because as you can see, I put my makeup on around 9 this morning. It's 2 o'clock and it's still in there. There's a little bit gone at the outside edges, which is always where gel liner disappears first for me, but I can still see this vividly, and a lot of it's still left in my waterline at the end of the day, whereas these guys, probably halfway through the day, they were pretty much all gone. Like there was just a tint of color left in my waterline. So mainly for the longevity and it just not being what I look for in a gel liner, that's pretty much why this landed in the spot it did. And like I said, it glides on very nicely, very smoothly, but it just doesn't last for me. Okay, so for the number 6 spot, I have the I Am Magic Setting Powder from Julius Place. Now, I didn't really expect to like this, because the first couple times I tried this, I used it as a setting powder to set my liquid foundation. And if I did anything from if I tried to set anything from medium to full coverage foundation, it really caked up and made my foundation look too cakey, and it just looked worse throughout the day than if I used a lighter type of powder. So I definitely didn't like it for that, and that's why I thought this would end up as a fail. However, as I've been trying it this past month, I actually started using it to lightly set my very light coverage foundations, or even on days when all I did was put a primer on, or my Kula Mineral Sunscreen. This little guy here, it has a matte tint. It's a mineral BB cream. It has very little coverage, but there are days where I just like to use this, put a little concealer under my eyes, and then use a powder foundation. And I kind of use this acting like a powder foundation, and it gives nice coverage. And I found that I really enjoyed how it wore throughout the day. Like I said, it gives good coverage because it is more of a, in my opinion, a pigmented and more full coverage type of setting powder. So it acted to me personally like a loose powder foundation. And that's kind of how I treated it. And when I used it like that, I actually really enjoyed it. And like I said, there were many days when I wanted to go very light with my foundation. And this is really all I used, with a little concealer under my eyes and, you know, this underneath it to kind of help it stick and stay. And it lasted really nice, wore beautifully throughout the day. It would wear away, you know, by the end of the day and whatnot, not significantly, but there would be a little bit more showing. It didn't give any crazy coverage when it came to like covering any imperfections. But again, I was using this when I wanted a very natural finish to my foundation and to my makeup, so I didn't mind that my skin was showing through, and I like that about it. So overall, I didn't hate this as much as I thought I would. It definitely isn't a fail, and it's definitely one that I'm going to put in my powder foundation drawer. I don't think I'll ever use it as a setting powder over liquid foundations, but very light foundations, or just on the days when I want a very light coverage and I just want a little powder foundation, I can see myself reaching for this again. Okay, for number 7, this is kind of rediscovered love, but I have to mention it is the Neutrogena Moisture Stick Color Stick in Almond Nude. I have worn this so many times this past month. I grabbed it on a whim because my lips were so dry and in such a bad spot when I started filming again that I didn't want to wear any kind of liquid lipsticks. I didn't really want to wear lipsticks and anything to like accentuate the lines of my lips and just how dry they were or flaky they were or whatnot. And this really came through for me. It's what I'm wearing right now in today's video, and it's just very, very comfortable. It glides on so beautifully. It feels so nice, like a lip balm. It's beautiful, but it gives really nice pigmentation to your lips, so it really does help to cover and conceal stuff, but it still feels nice. It feels moisturizing. It stays relatively nicely, and like there's no long wearing, you know, if you eat and drink and whatnot, it's definitely going to disappear. But I was very surprised that, you know, if I wasn't doing too much eating and drinking, it would last for several hours before needing to reapply throughout the day. And just overall, I was very impressed with it. It just feels nice. Like in the winter, these are the type of lipsticks or lip colors that I like to put on my lips, because if I don't, then I just won't wear anything. I'll just wear a balm because my lips get so dry with the heat on and whatnot. So this has really just come through for me this past month. I love the color. It's just the perfect type of nude. It gives a little life to my lips, but nothing too crazy, and it just goes with everything. Like I felt like it went with any eye look that I did. This really went with it. So I love that about it, and I had to give it a ranking in my countdown for this month because I just reached for it so many times. So yeah, I know it's not new, but it's a rediscovered love and I really enjoyed it. Next up is another lip product. I wanted to talk about the Wander Beauty Lipsetter Duo Lipstick and Liner, and I got the shade On the Mauve. I got this in my Tribe Beauty box, and you guys let me know the reason I got this is because I was a new subscriber. I had just signed up, and so they always include like a freebie, and this was my freebie, and I am so very excited because I absolutely love this. It comes with a liner on one side and then a more chubbier pencil type of lipstick on the other. Kind of reminds me of the ColourPop lippy sticks that they originally launched with. Reminds me of that, but they're both the same color, which is my preference because I'm not into the whole lip line and lipstick and, you know, blending and ombre lips, so I like that they're just both the same color. And I found that I was using both sides because since it's the same color, I would kind of draw on my lipstick like I typically would with this side, and then to kind of perfect and get the lines right here straight, and then also a little bit on my Cupid's bow, I just flip it around and use this, and it was very easy and effortless, and the formula on this lipstick is extremely comfortable. It glides on so nicely. It has a lot of moisture to the lipstick. It has a ton of pigmentation, so it doesn't take a whole lot to apply. There's no patchiness. There's no kind of sheerness to this lipstick. It's very full and opaque, but it also lasts really nice. Like, it really grips your lips, which I was surprised by how long this lasted. And I could do very light eating and drinking and it still stayed put. And even when it started to wear off, if I just was careful to kind of dab my lips instead of like swiping it with a napkin when I was eating, it will last through some light eating and a light lunch or something like that. So overall, I was very impressed. Like I said, it glides on very nice and it's very forgiving on lips. Again, my lips have been in a bad place this past month with the heat on and whatnot, and having a baby, and just, you know, my body is not getting the water, the moisture it typically gets and needs, so my lips have been very dry, and I just feel like this still looks nice. Even when my lips are very lined and dried and dehydrated, I can glide this over it, and it kind of gives just a little bit of almost like a concealer. It kind of helps fill in the lines of my lips and just make it look more plump and lush and healthy than it actually is. It makes it look like it's in a better place. Like I said, the lasting power surprised me on it, the opacity of the color surprised me, and then the comfortability of it really surprised me. Now, it is just a lipstick, so it will transfer everywhere, but that really is the only con when it comes to this lipstick, because everything else about it I just was very impressed with, really enjoyed it, and will definitely get a whole lot more use out of it in the future. All right, coming up on number 8, this is the Misha M Perfect Coverage BB Cream in the shade, what shade is this? Honey Beige. This little guy here, I feel like a lot of people on YouTube have raved about it, and I am joining the crew, I guess you could say. This is a really nice BB cream, and I am very impressed with how much coverage you get for this being a BB cream. I would say that this is on the same level as my medium coverage foundations, easily a medium coverage. It's very easy to apply and buff onto your skin. It melts in very nicely. I do notice that there is a sticky tackiness to this BB cream, so for me and my personal preferences, I do always set it with a light powder just to really lock it in, make sure it doesn't transfer, and to get rid of that sticky feel, because I don't like it personally. But it just gives a very nice overall, just an evening of the skin tone, and it's very comfortable on the skin. My skin has definitely been a little more dry this winter, especially like my nose area. It's been pretty dry with the heat on. I just feel like this is very forgiving in the area around my nose, and even in the lines around my nose and whatnot, where foundation can really cake up and line up and just look bad. I feel like this still looks nice, and I was impressed with that. And then longevity throughout the day, I was also very impressed with. Now keep in mind, we are in winter. I'm not going outside. I'm not really sweating or doing too much because I just had a baby. We lay it low most days around here. But so I haven't really tested it in that capacity when it comes to sweat and heat, so I'll definitely be curious to try it again over the summer. But for this winter season, it has been kind of my preference, my go-to. I have so many foundations that I picked out in December during my Shop My Stash to wear this month, and I really haven't worn many of them just because my skin has been so dry. I don't really want to put on a mattifying foundation, which is basically all I have. So this has really come through for me, and I've just really enjoyed it. I am a little bummed that this is a little dark for me. You can't really tell on camera, but in person, my face just looks a little bit darker than the rest of my body. So it's definitely something that I'll have to add a couple drops of like a lightener or just a lighter coverage, you know, a lighter toned foundation to it to even it out and just make it match me better. But when I was testing it, I didn't want to add anything to it, just to get the true, just to be able to give you guys an accurate review of this product alone with nothing else mixed into it. But yeah, for this month, it earned the number 9 spot because it was just such a standout product. All right, we made it to the top. Can you guys guess what is the top product, my number 10 spot? Or is it supposed to be number 1? I guess I don't know. Anyway, my top spot for this past month, can you guess what it is? It is my highlight. It is from Lethal Cosmetics, and it is their Wavelength Highlighters. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is stunning. I absolutely love how it looks. Like, I feel like it's such a gorgeous, blinding highlight, but at the same time, it's very natural looking on your skin too, which I was surprised but very pleased with. I feel like it can be very hard to find a foundation that looks like it blends into the skin seamlessly, but still really gives you a blinding, very glowy look. Like, I feel like these type of highlighters in person can look very like, oh my goodness, what is that stripe on your face? But I feel like this Wavelength highlighter from Lethal Cosmetics, when you blend it into your skin, it looks flawless and seamless. I don't feel like it accentuates any of the dryness in my skin, and it's just so effortless and beautiful on my skin. I absolutely love it, and I have been wearing it so much this past month. I picked out so many highlighters to just wear this past month or 2 months, whatever, when I did my last Shop My Stash, but this is the one that I continually go for just because I have enjoyed it so much and I've been so impressed. I shared my birth story, which I'll leave linked up here, but I was wearing this highlighter in that video. When I was editing my birth story, I kept going, man, what highlight do I have on? I really like how it catches the light and just is very reflective and beautiful, but still looks, I don't know, it didn't look like a stripe. Like, it looked like I just had a very glowy face, like I had a very healthy and lush look to my face, and it was this highlighter right here. So Lethal Cosmetics, I really like their eyeshadows. I was very impressed with them last year, and this year going into 2020 I am super impressed with their highlighters. And if you're curious, I got the shade Isotope. It is the perfect shade, a perfect highlighter color for me and my skin tone. Absolutely love it, and I do not want to put it away and grab anything else just because it's just been gorgeous. I love the formula too. I didn't even mention that, but the formula is definitely more of a powdery type of formula. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Ofra, but not really. It's not as powdery as Ofra, but like so intense, so beautiful. I absolutely love it and cannot recommend it enough. So yeah, the Lethal Cosmetics Wavelength highlighters, absolutely gorgeous, totally worth the price, and I am going to be wearing this so very much this next year. Alright, so there you have it. There's the countdown. Now that I made it to the end, I feel like I was doing it in the wrong order. I think I'm supposed to start at 10 and work my way to number 1. And also, little man, little Levi just woke up, so I am giving him. And also, little Levi just woke up as I was ending my number 1 spot with the Lethal Cosmetics highlighter. So good thing we reached the end of this video, and I'm just going to wrap it up. If you guys like this type of countdown of taking like the 10 standout products from the month and going from the worst all the way up to my favorite from the month, let me know if you like that over the typical kind of just reviewing everything, all the fails, all the okays, and all the favorites from the month. Let me know your thoughts, and like I said, this next month I'm definitely going to try to do a better job at giving you guys shorter videos with just my review of one single product or maybe a couple of products or whatnot, but just doing a better job at getting those out quicker throughout the month so that you guys don't have to wait so long and wait for my 45-minute long monthly review videos. So let me know what you guys think. Just playing around with some video ideas, because as you can see, I was recording for barely 25 minutes and little man is up. So I have to do something to make it feasible for me to still produce content and, you know, be able to record and whatnot, even though my recording schedule is not as long as it used to. So anyway, just playing around with some ideas. Let me know your feedback down below. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video. Those are the standout products from the past couple months of the new products that I've been testing and whatnot, and a couple rediscoveries of older products. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it and found my little short reviews helpful and informative in some way. But yeah, with all that said, I think that will do it for this video. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.